Hello, Jensen. This is Mr. Edwin from the tech support. Can you hear me? Hello, Jensen. Can you hear me? Can you say something? We want to test your mic. Can you say something? Sorry.
Hi, can you hear me?
Okay, sure. I can hear you. Okay, sure. We'll just hang on.
All right, thanks.
Hi, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to our November webinar series. I'm Dr. Leong from the Diploma in Chemical Engineering, and I'll be your host this afternoon. In this webinar, we'll be able to gain insights into the chemical engineering discipline and the careers that one can pursue in the field. So we have an amazing lineup of speakers this afternoon. Please join me to welcome Dr. Rajesh Subramanyam, Senior Scientist of P&G Chemicals Singapore, our very own alumni, Mr. Tan Wei-An Jensen, who's a process technician in Shell Eastern Petroleum. Another alumni, Ms. Lacy, from Micron Semiconductor, Asia. And two of our existing students, Mr. Daniel Afkal Kuniawan bin Salikin and Ms. Bernice Tan. Without further ado, let's welcome Dr. Rajesh from P&G Chemicals to share his experience with us. Hi, Dr. Rajesh.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us this afternoon. And I have a question for you, Dr. Rajesh. We have always heard that chemical engineers are involved in making the products that we use every day. So can you share with us what are some of these products and how are they produced?
Sure. It's a very broad question. Maybe I group them different categories first. For example, petrochemicals, like what are all things coming to your mind? Natural gas, diesel, petrol, and other, petroleum-based products like ethylene. From there, what are all things we can make? Polyethylene, high density polyethylene, plastics, right? These are all something we daily use. Similarly, if you take another group of items like pharmaceuticals, all these bulk chemicals, which is used for making medicine, right? Tablets, day-to-day, treatment of several diseases. All these things are made by chemical engineers, right? And another big sector like food products, right? This is our own region. Take Malaysia, Indonesia, palm oil. We are the only 80% supplier for the entire world, right? It's all again produced by chemical process and chemical engineers, right? Other industrial chemicals and also polymers, dyes, paints. So if you think of any process which have a input raw material and you do some chemical modification or physical modification, and then you get a output. That's called process, right? So if any product has this, that's all chemical engineers are involved in that.
Thank you, Dr. Rajesh. It certainly sounds like chemicals are everywhere in our everyday product, and chemical engineers have a role to play in these products. I have the pleasure of working with Dr. Rajesh in a collaboration just a few months ago. And Dr. Rajesh, could you share with us what are the roles of chemical engineers in the manufacturing of these products that you have just shared?
Sure. Let's start from R&D because I'm working in R&D, right? So in R&D function, if you take, there are two big departments. One is product research, means chemical engineers will involve in, what sort of new formulation, what sort of new product we develop, right? So this also, we also do communication or connect with the customers directly. For example, P&G, there are a lot of surveyors will go to the customers, either home or we invite them to a P&G office here. We ask them what is their day-to-day problems. The key role for chemical engineer is convert the customer's problem into a technical question. For example, customer says, I have a hair stickiness or hair fall, right? How this can be converted into a technical problem that only chemical engineers can do, right? This is called product research, right? Developing a new product. And another thing in the R&D is process development, right? Process development is, I know now my product, how do I make it, right? How do I, for example, how do I mix water and oil, right? That's what your shampoo is, right? So this one initially, like how much energy, how much mixing energy, how much RPM I need to rotate, what is the batch size? These are all the product process development engineers role, right? This is again chemical engineering, especially lab scale to pilot scale, pilot scale to plant scale. The scale up concept is only chemical engineers can do, right? So this is another important job in the industry for chemical engineers. And apart from R&D, what are all the other jobs are there? Technical sales, right? Somebody is very good at selling or sales and marketing, but some products need some technical insights. For example, catalyst, right? Some companies like BASF, Clariant, all these companies, catalyst selling, even some polymers, plastics, raw material. So all those things need to understand the technical depth of the product. We cannot just sell like any nasi lemak or any food products. Right? It needs a technical understanding of the product. Only then you can convince the customer. That's again customer chemical engineer role. Right? Similarly, if you take in the plant, right, process engineer means day-to-day troubleshooting. It's like a medical doctor's job. The plant normally has some issues that like our body has issues. The doctor will do the investigation and solve it, right? Similarly, in the plant, the process have issues. Chemical engineers or process engineers troubleshoot, fix it. That's another big role for chemical engineer too. Similarly, quality assurance, and then process control engineer, process optimization engineer. These are all the various roles for the chemical engineers in the industry.
Thank you, Dr. Rajesh. I like the way you put it, as in to convert a customer problem into a technical problem, so that scientists and chemical engineers like yourself can work on to produce the products for these consumers to use. Yeah, it's very nicely put. Yeah, thank you very much for sharing with us the insights of the roles of chemical engineers in our everyday life. May I invite you to stay on this webinar and to as I invite other speakers to share their stories as well. Thank you, Dr. Rajesh.
Thank you very much, Dr. Leon.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to now inform you that the Q&A platform is open for you to post questions. Please refer to the information on this banner and also at the bottom of the screen to post your questions. Our next two speakers are our very own alumni from the Chemical Engineering Diploma right here in Temasek Polytechnic. First of all, let's welcome Mr. Jensen Tan. Good afternoon, Jensen. Hello.
Hi. Thank you, Dr. Leong. Hi, I'm Jensen. I actually graduated back in 2015. So I will share with you my current journey to where I am right now. So first off, I got into the TP's chemical engineering in 2011-12, and then I got in actually with like a grade with 18 L1R5. So over the course of the 4 years, I enjoyed my time with all my classmates, and then some of them I still keep in contact with. So we all went to different companies, and some went on to uni first. So for my internship, I actually went to Simrise, which is related to perfumery fragrance oils, which was very different from what I thought the initial industry would be like for oils and gas. And then right after my graduation in 2015, I went to the army for 2 years, and during which I applied for the Earn and Learn program, which was a work study program. And then I was able to join Shell back then. So that was about 3 years ago. Yeah. So what I'm doing now would be actually I'm taking a part-time degree in NUS. So you're still able to have an opportunity to join uni lah, even if you didn't manage to get in, if you didn't do as well. Yeah, because the Earn and Learn program will help you to get into the help you get in lah. Yeah. So the skill sets that will be beneficial for the industry would be such as you have to have good communication, especially since you're working with your colleagues, people with many different teams, such as engineering departments, mechanical, as well as some of the economic teams where they will do scheduling and mixing of various crudes lah. So basically what I do at Shell right now is I'm working as a chemical technician, process technician actually. So I'm working at Pulau Boko, which is offshore island south of Singapore, close to Sentosa there. And we have to work as a team quite closely because we have to troubleshoot areas like such as every few days we will have to make a crude switch where the crude diet will change depending on where the crude are selected, and from Middle East crudes or like Asia crudes. So this will make a huge difference based on the location where they are from. Yeah. So
thank you, Jensen, for sharing that wonderful journey of your constant learning, and also it's nice to see our alumni spread their wings in the industry. I think the skill sets are also very important, and because process technicians are really have very big responsibilities to run the plants to produce chemicals, not in a very large scale and also in a very safe way, so that it's available for everyone to use. So may I just find out from you, how has the chemical engineering diploma that you mentioned, you graduated from in 2015, prepared you for this wonderful journey that you are having?
Okay, I would say the most impact it would have would be such as because it allows me to dive more into the certain logics, the processes of like, for example, like how a venturi meter would how the process how it works like basically. So when I see it on the field, I see this before, I know how it works. So it helps me to integrate my learning, so I'll better understand it a lot faster than those of my team members who haven't studied in this field. So that's one of the main ways the diploma has helped me. Yeah.
I see. I see. Thank you very much for sharing. Do you have a word of advice for aspiring chemical engineers who would like to choose your journey?
Mm, you have to. What advice? I guess you have to just keep working hard on it. Don't give up.
I see. Thank you very much, Jensen, for dropping in today and sharing with us your very interesting story as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. So please hold and as we go to the next speaker. Our next speaker is also one of our alumni. She is Miss Lacy. Miss Lacy is currently an engineer in Micron. Hi, Lacy.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you for taking time to join us this afternoon. So, you have ventured into the electronics manufacturing field with your chemical engineering skills and knowledge. So, it must have been a very interesting journey that you have taken. So, can you share with us how you have embarked on this journey?
Hi, I'm Lacy. I'm the alumni from TP and I graduated in 2014. So after which I have joined Micron as a chemical laboratory technician. So I was working in chem lab. So basically is a quality control department to ensure the chemicals used in our production is within the control. And also we closely monitoring if there is any contaminations on the products. So I was working in shift. The working hour is 8:30 to 9, so is 3 or 4 days per week. And after 1 year of working, I decided to continue my study in NUS chemical engineering. So it was sponsored by Micron. So after I complete the studies in NUS, I have promoted to become an engineer. So it was my first job after graduate from TP, and I worked for 6 years. Yeah, as I have grown from technician to engineer, it involved a lot of decision making. So the role for the technician is just to follow the instructions, and the engineer's job is to design a process flow for the teams to follow. So because micro has involved a lot of teamwork, and the people are from respective background, technical background. So we work together to enhance the process. And as I'm working in the chem lab, my job role is more related to chemistry. So it matches the courses that I have studied in TP.
Thank you, Ms. Lacy, for sharing your journey. Um, uh, so you have mentioned that you have developed and bloomed very much in Micron, where you have moved from a process and a lab technician to a role of an engineer today. So can you share with us what do you like about working in Micron, and what are some of the challenges that you face uh, in your current role?
So the challenge I have faced is mainly the job responsibility change from a technician to an engineer. And currently, I'm taking a new job role as a shift lead. So I will be managing a team with 2 or 3 technicians. So I will need to regularly communicate with them about the rooms for improvements and the difficulties they have faced. So in the end, we'll provide some guidance for their career growth. Then for why the reason why I like Micron is because Micron is always care about the people. So it always trying to build an environment where the team member drifts. So during the COVID-19 period, our company has closely monitored the team members' health by encouraging us to check the temperature regularly and also provide the free meals for the people who is working on site, as well as distribute all the necessary items like hand sanitizer and masks to ensure our employee is in a safe condition. Another one, another one is Micron has demonstrated the support for all the innovative ideas, because there is always a way to improve our product and process. So my team is always welcome all the suggestions and comments from anyone. Yeah.
Thank you very much for sharing, Ms. Lacy. Yep. Please stay with us on this webinar as we move to the next speaker. So thank you very much. Ladies
Sure.
and gentlemen, I would also like to share with you that the semiconductor industry is a route that chemical engineers can go into. And we do train our students to pursue in traditional fields of chemical engineering, such as oil and gas, chemistry testing, chemical testing, pharmaceutical testing, and in addition, the semiconductor industry manufacturing as well. Okay, so thank you very much, Ms. Lacy, once again for sharing your story with us. Next, we have two current year 3 students in the diploma who have just completed their 6-month internship. So first up will be Daniel. Hello, Daniel.
Hello, Dr. Leong.
Hi, Daniel. Good to see you. Yeah, thank you for joining us this afternoon. So you have just completed a wonderful internship in the Institute of Bioengineering and Nanotechnology in A-Star. So could you tell us more about your internship in IBN?
Sure. All right. So thank you, Dr. Leong, for the kind introduction. So hi, everyone. I hope you all are doing fine. So I had the greatest opportunity to fulfill my internship at A-Star, specifically IBN as mentioned. So as some of you may know, A-Star is Singapore's largest public research agency. And my very first impression of this organization is that it can provide a great and awesome platform to gain deeper insights into their industry-oriented projects. So IBN in particular takes on a wide variety of projects in the development of products in biotechnological and healthcare applications. So immediately I knew that this was a career path that I could potentially pursue in the future. So during my internship, I had been given the task to assist in the development of polymer-based antimicrobial hydrogels that can be an alternative and amenable solution to traditional antibiotic wound treatments. Besides that, there is also another assignment that I did, which is developing and testing antimicrobial surface coatings, where the lab's objective was skewed at killing bacteria and on frequently touched surfaces in a clean, safe, and scalable approach. So for my internship, what I've gained the most is a valuable and extensive hands-on experience through conducting chemical synthesis and bacterial work. So together with my final year project, I have equipped myself with the salient technical knowledge, which was the backbone of my research. So on a personal perspective, what I've gained, what I find real pleasure in analyzing is what I find real pleasure is analyzing the correlation between biological and synthetic systems, and also on the very fact that these technologies could have the potential to save lives in the fight against antimicrobial resistance. So this is something, in my opinion, truly inspiring. So crossing the finishing line of my internship, I'm grateful that TP has prepared me well for my internship experience. Looking back, I can see just how important the diploma's core modules were, ranging from basic microbiology taught in year 2 to principles of inorganic chemistry taught in year 3. So they provided me the concepts and justifications in my application when performing research tasks during my industrial stint in A-Star.
Thank you, Daniel, for sharing. I had the pleasure of taking that ride with you when you were doing your internship at IBN, and I've seen you blossom, from a chemical engineering student to someone that's doing antimicrobial polymeric hydrogel research. So could you share with us what are some of the challenges that you have to overcome as you embark on your internship?
Okay, so perhaps this industrial experience slightly differs from the chemical engineering modules a bit. So most of our modules were focused on physical sciences such as thermodynamics and mass and balance. So I think one of the challenges that I faced were basically a bit of a steep learning curve to grasp some of the chemical knowledge and chemical names, compound names, when undergoing my internship. So one way I actually managed to solve this was to look back on some of the bio and chemistry related modules that were lightly touched in my diploma course, which I mentioned was basic microbiology and principles of inorganic chemistry. So with these basic concepts, I did discuss this with my supervisor, and she did tell me more in-depth knowledge to essentially help me with my internship experience.
Thank you, Daniel, for sharing with us the challenges. So we have with us in the audience today prospective students who are considering on taking this chemical engineering discipline for their polytechnic education. So do you have any advice for these prospective students?
All right. I believe that they might be concerned about choosing their tertiary education pathway. So perhaps I will give everyone a brief synopsis regarding my educational background. So prior to joining Poly, I graduated from St. Gabriel's Secondary School about 3 years ago. And back then, I was in a triple pure science stream. So at the time, I was being swayed by parents, teachers to enroll in a JC instead. However, I was already fixated on the idea that I really wanted to choose a polytechnic pathway. That I knew Poly was a place to be in because of its holistic and kinesthetic learning. So the next question that I had in mind was which course path that I wanted to enroll in. So again, I asked myself, what course interests me and what are my strengths? I knew that I wanted to pursue a science-based course as I had a strong passion and curiosity in research. But what appealed me to join chemical engineering, apart from the rest, is that chemical engineering combines the three basic physical sciences, mainly which comprises of chemistry, physics, and biology, along with mathematics in designing processes to develop useful products such as energy and pharmaceuticals. Furthermore, from my secondary school knowledge, my three sciences were my strongest subjects, which again played the deciding factor when choosing chemical engineering. So essentially, my key takeaway for all you prospective students out there is to really go ahead and understand your strengths and interests. Be bold and make your choice. Especially in an Asian culture, we are bounded by parents and teachers' decisions. So I hope everyone can look at their individual self and think about what you really want to do, because this is your life, and at the end of the day, you've got to make the decision for yourself in the future. And with that, that's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daniel. I think you have certainly put in a lot of thoughts into deciding your diploma, and I'm glad you have chosen chemical engineering as the diploma of choice. Yep, thank you very much for the sharing. Next, we have another year 3 student, Bernice, to share her experience with us. So Bernice just had her internship at Shell. Hello, Bernice.
Hi, Dr. Leong.
Good afternoon. Yeah. So you're in the final year of the course right now. So what are some of the highlights of the course for you so far?
There are actually many highlights that I would like to mention that have made my diploma journey a very meaningful, memorable, and an enriching one. Firstly, meaningful and enriching. Why so? As a chemical engineer, we have a role to play in everyday life, be it the testing of material and products, research, design, optimizing processes, and that is what makes me feel the significance of pursuing this course. During year 1, I took up fundamental modules like basic microbiology. It was very interesting, where I had the chance to actually inoculate E. coli on an agar plate. And as you can see through the picture scene, is what I observed it through a microscope. Proceeding to year 2, things started to be more in-depth. From learning how to treat wastewater in environmental technology to the use of gas and liquid absorption tower in unit operation too, all of which equips me with the necessary skills needed for the industry. And of course, I had my fair share of fun, laughter, and memorable events. Sorry, next slide, please. During the holidays, I actually took up a differential research project. So what I had to do was to actually breed and kill mosquitoes by synthesizing lemongrass. It was a very fascinating experience, especially for the fact that I got to see and incubate the eggs of a mosquito. Apart from that, as part of the Global Studies module, I actually went to Malaysia with my best friends, visiting places like the Batik Cave, Yakult Factory, and an organic farm. Some of my peers even visited countries like Vietnam and Philippines as well. For innovation and entrepreneurship, as part of the course curriculum, my teammates and I designed and came up with an idea of a wireless charging bag installed with a heater and cooler function, and we pitched our concept and video to our teacher, whom selected us to represent Applied Science School for the innovation competition. And with the cash prize won, we used it to enjoy a scrumptious feast of Korean barbecue buffet feast, as you can see from the picture. And these are the memories that will forever be in my mind.
Thank you, Bernice, for the sharing. It certainly sounds like you have a lot of fun. I think from your first slide, I had this, impression that you are going from very small microbes, just 10 microns in size, and then you're scaling it up, to a pilot scale process. And likewise, for your second slide, I can see that you do serious work such as research, which is actually one of the key activities right here in School of Applied Science. And then you also had a lot of fun in global studies trip. I think I've heard a lot about you guys having a lot of fun during that Malaysia trip. Yeah. So apart from that, can you share with us your recent internship experience at Shell, please?
Sure. Now, as a year 3, I've just completed my 6 months internship at Shell Jurong Island. Shell Jurong Island is actually a petrochemical business that converts feedstock and crude oil into a variety of products for application like plastics for packaging. This internship actually gave me first-hand exposure and insight into the industry that I would like to work at. At Shell, I have 2 job scopes, mainly risk-based inspection study for equipment like exchangers and piping in a chemical plants. So what I did is actually to assess all of this equipment and piping risk and establish the next inspection date. My second job scope involved condition monitoring location calculation. So what I will do for this job scope is that I will actually derive the number of devices to be placed on piping and pressure vessels to monitor the conversion rate. So while doing my job scope, I actually learned how to use different systems and softwares I never knew before, such as the Web and Asset Integrity Management System, Navy's Work Freedom, AutoCAD for the interpretation of isometric and general arrangement drawing. Besides the above, I also heightened my skills on Excel and the understanding of the process and instrumentation diagram. Aside technical skills gained, some soft skills that I built up were my confidence, courage, and interpersonal skills. Confidence has always been something that I lack, and it's actually one of my weakness. Yet during at Shell, I was given reassurance and constant trust. For instance, I had access to edit and create and interlink the confidential hierarchy-based web integrity management system website. Aside that, as the focal point for the condition monitoring location calculation, I had to be responsible and to provide updates during the team meeting, and all of which builds up my confidence. Other than the job scope I had to do, I was exposed and involved in various discussions like zinc liquid metal embrittlement protection in fire cases for stainless steel, and to the facilitation of a tank extension workshop. These were things that I actually had no experience about. Nevertheless, I learned along the way. And for the tank extension workshop, I actually did up a matrix and had to ask the multidisciplinary team for their inputs before submitting the necessary documents to my supervisor boss. So actually, the multidisciplinary team were made out of members whom I never viewed before. So it's actually through rare opportunities like these, I take away interpersonal skills. Also, you also provide me with the courage and ability to communicate in a large group setting. Overall, this internship program actually has broadened up my perspective and actually made me grow so much as a person. And as I'm about to leave Temasek Polytechnic next year, what would stay with me and what would I like to bring along is the friendship that I forged with my peers around me and the appreciation of the boundless opportunities provided to me by my school and lecturers.
Thank you, Bernice, for sharing your internship experience. Yeah, I think it's certainly a dream, and I'm really admire the experience that you have had from having drawings, from isometric drawings all the way to laboratory tests, and then to fire testing and things like that. It certainly sounds very eventful, and we will certainly miss the year 3 batch this year as you guys complete the final semester of your journey. So thank you very much, Bernice, for sharing.
No problem. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will conclude this afternoon's webinar with our next segment, which is the Q&A segment. So please remember to post your question on the platform provided, which is this slide that's shown on your screen now, and we will try our best to address your questions. So at this point, I would also like to share some of the interesting facts about chemical engineering with you. And I think you may have heard from the previous speakers already. Chemical engineering is actually not only limited to the chemistry subject. It is actually a multidisciplinary field involving chemistry, physics, biology, and mathematics. And if I may quote Dr. Rajesh again, it is indeed a rojak of these subjects, a mixture of these subjects. And as you can see these subjects coming together, you can see the science and the mathematics coming alive in front of you, and we apply it to solving problems, to producing products that we use every day. Okay. So I have a question coming in, which I would like to take. So the first question is, how does the student life in Temasek Poly compare to secondary school? So I'm going to direct this question to Daniel. So Daniel, would you like to address this question, please? How is your current student life in Temasek Poly different from your secondary school?
Okay, so maybe perhaps looking at the academic side of things. The academic side in a diploma in Polytechnic is way different in terms of the learning pedagogy. So we will have lectures instead of classes compared to a secondary school. And in secondary school, we would have a form teacher, whereas in a diploma in a Polytechnic, we would be having different modules, so with a care group. So it's slightly different to a secondary school per se. But looking maybe aside of academics, TP has a wide variety of CCAs and plans many activities for students to participate to provide maybe an enriching student life. So I think students can choose a wide variety of clubs, art societies, and also sports teams. There are many interest groups at the diploma and school level for students to actually take on leadership roles. So for me, I'm currently in TP Sports Club for my final year, and I'm having a leadership role. I've been appointed a leadership role of vice secretary, and I'm actually very grateful for this opportunity as it helped me grow as an individual and develop leadership skills. It has also been an enriching experience to maybe liaise with different vendors, sponsors, and maybe partners of Active SG and Health Promotion Board as we work towards promoting our club's goal of promoting a healthier lifestyle. So I guess the student life is an enriching one compared to secondary school.
Thank you, Daniel, for sharing with us your Polytechnic journey. So Bernice, I would also like you to share this question, your answer on this question about how your life in Polytechnic compared to secondary school. I know you are also very active in your CCAs as well?
For this question, I feel that during secondary school, same like what Daniel has mentioned, it's more like we follow the timetable kind of thing. And it's more rigid in terms of schedule, and there will be a teacher who will constantly be there for you. And while Temasek Poly, of course, there's the same thing. There will be a teacher will be there for you, but it's more of we need to be more self-motivated, and our schedule actually gives us more freedom and more like creativeness, where we can actually plan out our schedule in terms of what we want to do during our free time as well. So for me, I actually joined up a CCA, which is actually the Global Connect student group. So that actually made my student life actually really interesting. So there's also like ACADS and maybe CCA, that kind of balance. And that is what I actually enjoyed. So during CCA, I also do things like community service, and these are things that in Temasek Poly we are able to take part in based on the things that we are interested.
Thank you, Bernice, for sharing. I can certainly add on to this question from my perspective as a teacher. So as a teacher, I think in Polytechnic we take the journey with the students in a much closer way. So for example, I was sharing with you that I actually was with Daniel in his internship in A-Star, looking through his research proposals and guiding him in what he should do and how he can achieve better results. In global studies trip, our lecturers will also travel with the students to experience different cultures with them. So I think you can expect a much closer rapport between teachers and students in the Polytechnic as compared to secondary school. Yep, thank you very much for that question. I'd like to take the next question. Okay, excuse me. The next question will be, other than Jurong Island, what are the other plants or companies that I'm able to join? Jurong Island is so far. Okay, that's a very interesting question. And I will take that question. So indeed, Jurong Island is very far from where we are. So I'm assuming that you are also quite near me now, in the eastern part of Singapore. And indeed, Jurong Island, it has a lot of companies that we send our interns to, and also our graduates eventually will find jobs in Jurong Island. I think Jurong Island is a very impressive island in itself. Despite its small size, it has a lot of energy and chemical industry companies. That is actually the 7th largest world producer in petrochemicals. Okay, so you can see that is a very important part to the Singapore economy. Apart from Jurong Island, you can actually find companies in Tuas. Okay, I know that's further west, but you can find pharmaceutical companies in Tuas, and that is also a very impressive biomedical hub that we have created in Singapore. And there are also many other companies that are situated around the island. Micron, for example, where our speaker, Miss Lacy, is from, is situated in the north in Woodlands. Okay, I think our first speaker also shared that chemical engineers can also do different kinds of job roles, such as technical sales. And in technical sales, you'll be able to find jobs in many different companies selling chemicals and equipment, and that is actually distributed all over the island. Okay, and if you are with respect to the eastern part, I believe Changi Industrial Park and some of these companies, they are dealing with chemical sales as well. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. And yeah, I do hear you that Jurong Island is far, but that's really a gem that we have created, and it's a marvel in chemical engineering. Okay, this next question that I would like to take is, how can we actually enter R&D side instead of being a process technician? So I think this question, the best person to answer this question would be Dr. Rajesh himself, who's a senior scientist in P&G Chemicals. Dr. Rajesh, please.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, going into R&D, many companies expect some experience, right? Let me talk about PNG. PNG have two streams. One is a scientist stream, which is like, which needs a master's degree. We also have a researcher stream, which means this is suitable for diploma candidates, right? So diploma candidates coming into R&D, mostly you are expected to do 70% a daily routine job, right? But still you have the 30% innovation related. So you can bring your own idea, you can bring any new process or new changes you can recommend, right? So this goes along once you get experience, the researcher stream, you are definitely able to join the scientist stream as well. So I would say it depends on company. As far as PNG is concerned, we definitely have a stream for diploma candidates in R&D, but many other companies, you need to first join and gain your experience and show your interest to innovation rather than daily routine job. People will directly absorb you.
Thank you, Dr. Rajesh. The next question, I would like to invite Mr. Jensen to answer this question. So, Mr. Jensen, when you joined Simrise, you mentioned that it's different from what you have expected. So, does that mean you didn't enjoy your internship?
Actually, though, when I meant it was different, it's based on what I would have to do on a daily basis. It's like a more routine job because it's a manufacturing plant. But actually, there's a lot of things I learned there, because we are doing compounding fragrance oils for like perfumes. We actually use like very tiny quantities of like 0.1 ml of a certain chemical, and then we have a mixture of such over 20 ingredients. And that makes me think of all the different combinations that you actually could come up with. So I learned a lot lah, basically. I thought it would just be like a menial role, just doing the same thing over and over again. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jensen. Yes, Simrise, I think a lot goes. You have to do a lot of fragrances, and that has been added to everyday product, right? Yeah. Thank you very much, Jensen, for your sharing. This next question, I would like to direct it to Ms. Lacy. So, in terms of the chemical engineering, are there any other forms of, say, electronic, mechanical, and technical engineering subjects that are involved?
Hi.
So, Ms. Lacy, perhaps allow me to answer from the subject's point of view, and then you can perhaps help me add on from the expertise point of view, from the applications point of view. So, for chemical engineering, I think because it's a multidisciplinary field, so we are actually certainly learning a lot of different disciplines. So, we have to know a little bit about electronics because we need to understand control systems. We need to set up different feedback loops to allow us to control the processes, and then also to install the instrumentations. Okay. We will also study a little bit about the mechanical engineering portion and the maintenance engineering portion, because these are basically to support the day-to-day running of a process plant. And I'm sure Ms. Lacy, from the semiconductor manufacturing point of view, I believe you have certainly applied quite a bit of process controls and instrumentations in your company with regards to this area.
Okay, the things we learn is from the Polytechnic, like electronic, mechanical, and chemicals. It can be used in different field of work. So different people are taking up different responsibilities based on their technical background. So the things we are studied in the TP are interactive. So it will apply to our individual job respectively. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Lacy, for adding on to my this question. Okay. So I'd like to take the next question. What are the next upcoming technologies related to chemical engineering that has huge market opportunities in the future? I think for chemical engineering, these are exciting times. I think the recent advancement in data analytics and also robotic process automation are certainly areas that are related to processing and the whole production that process plants that are going to help make chemical engineering a lot more efficient in terms of energy and also in terms of waste reduction. So in the near future, I think we will see a lot of adoption of these technologies into the process plant, such as the use of automation to improve the yields of processes, and the use of data analytics and also data visualization to help us optimize the energy consumption and help us manage energy resources at the plant. Yeah, so this is basically the Industry 4.0 features that are basically being introduced slowly into the chemical processing industry right now. Okay, so thank you very much for that question. Okay, the next question. I love chemistry, but I'm not good at mathematics at all. Does this course have a lot of math subjects? So for this course, we have mentioned that it's actually a mixture of the sciences and mathematics. So we have in this course 3 mathematics subjects. So they are namely Engineering Mathematics 1, Engineering Mathematics 2, and then there's one that is Applied Mathematics, which will teach you how to apply some of the mathematical concepts. So not to worry, I think it's great that you love chemistry. So if you're not good at math, we'll provide you with the support and guidance for you to be able to do well in this course. Okay, so do consider joining us, and we'll work with you with regards to your mathematics. Yeah, thank you for that question. Okay, the next question is directed to Daniel. I'm interested in what you're doing. Should I study biotech instead? Daniel, over to you.
Okay. So for my internship, it's more of an R&D focused type of research area. For chemical engineering, we do have a wider range of job opportunities compared to biotech. So Dr. Leong, maybe you could help validate my statement here, but I think chemical engineering mainly focuses on the processes. So chemical engineering pretty much amplifies what is being done in lab scale, whereas biotech does all the research in a lab setting. So basically, biotech is more the R&D side, and chemical engineering is the design of processes. Am I right, Dr. Leong?
Okay. Thank you, Daniel, for the explanation. I think certainly chemical engineers are basically interested in scaling up. So in Daniel's work, during his internship, he was synthesizing polymers, polymeric hydrogels, and then he was trying to cast them on different substrate and then make them into usable forms, right? So with regards to the biotech part, I think biotechnology, you do a lot more on, for example, in Daniel's context, microbial testing. So that's where the biotechnology part will come in. In our biotech course, you also learn a lot of different bioassays and to develop assays that, for example, the COVID-19 test kits, and how you'll be trained in skills that are relevant to use those assays to test for some of the biological markers. So that's in general what biotech is. But if you are talking about Daniel's internship work, I think biotech part certainly applies when it comes to the microbial culture, and when you were looking at your gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria performance on your hydrogel. I think that's the part that's relevant for your work. Yeah, Daniel, I hope that clarifies a little bit as well.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. Okay, this next question, for the current students, what are the subjects that you feel as more relevant to the course? So I am interpreting this question as what are the secondary school subjects that we feel is more relevant to the course. So Bernice, would you like to answer this question, please? Thank you.
Okay, sure. For secondary school subjects, I feel that definitely your sciences and of course mathematics such as AMAX will actually help, will be a good aid to the course. But of course there will be also like bridging, like even if you don't take AMAX, our course actually provides like bridging programs, so it's not something to be failed upon. And sciences wise, because like we do learn things like organic chemistry and the fractional distillation column in secondary school, and that is something that is also like useful to our course because we'll be learning things like cooling tower and more of operation wise stuff. And I feel that regardless of what kind of subject we take in secondary school, it will actually just provide us a basic fundamental to our subject course in poly. So be it physics or bio, everything will be useful, even mathematics and English as well.
Thank you, Bernice, for the sharing. Bernice, I have another question that's coming up for you. So what is the hardest thing about your internship at Shell?
The hardest thing about my internship at Shell is mostly because that I lack of experience. And my supervisor was also new to the petrochemical industry. So he just came in like 3 months before me and he was a uni graduate. So there were many times that we had to learn things together. And for example, if I learn something, I will need to teach him. For example, like taking, for instance, condition monitoring location calculations. So these are things that we actually measure the pipe thickness. So for things like vessel stream, which are instrumentation lines, we will actually not put these types of devices in. So I will actually like teach my supervisor as well if I gain any knowledge. So this it's like a sharing session. So I will not say that it's really a hard thing, but it's also something that we both learn and go together.
I see. Thank you very much, Bernice, for sharing. So at this point, so we have not answered all your questions today. I think we have addressed many questions, and I hope this chat session has given you some ideas on the possible career opportunities if you join the Diploma in Chemical Engineering in Temasek Polytechnic. I'd like to share with you that we have our open house that's coming up in January 2021. So do join us if you would like to find out more information. Okay, more details will be on our website soon. We also hope to improve our future session. So please do help us by giving us your feedback by scanning this QR code that's appearing on the screen now. Thank you very much for spending your hour with us. I hope you had an enjoyable session. And at this point, I would also like to thank all the speakers this afternoon for sharing with us their stories and insights. So thank you very much and goodbye.